was the next dev blog here, the patch notes for founders access. This was yesterday, in fact, as today is the 12th as I record this. Signature and scanning analysis. So you got to keep it looks like you got to just look at it and keep it in sight in order to scan some things down. The gravitational signatures, the system enables you to passively search for, interpret, and act on incomplete information. Visibility exists on a gradient, so you got to keep looking at it and getting closer to it. So rider ships, which the rider is the clone, automatically detect emissions from nearby entities. The design intent behind that is to make it a little more alive, basically just working and finding. Character progression. So in cycle 4, everything just transferred over to a clone. It looks like we're going to have to actually make our own clones in a nursery in order to keep our skills. So that's very akin to what EVE Online moved to and then subsequently moved away from, where you had to buy different clone levels in order to maintain your skill points. We'll see how this one kind of works out. It looks like these particular nurseries, you are actually able to build clones that have specialties. So your reaping shell is going to have a cutting laser. So like your mining, and then you've got aggression, which is going to be your shield restore capacity need is going to be reduced. And then your rugged is just going to be repair unit capacity need reduced. That seems very akin. So we'll have to see how that works out. And then you have the nest where everything's stored. And then shells and crowns. That's just moving things over. Experiences on the frontier now form memories, fueling pathway growth. Crowns allowed riders to implant memories into the active shell, expanding the customization and strategy shell management. Weaving the crown creates an item with all your memories, and then you implant it, basically. You can do that once every 30 minutes. Character sheet overhaul, you've got your active shell state, installed clones, and progression clarity. So we'll have to look at how that works in-game, evolving your character progression into something owned and strategically managed. It looks like we've got better camera options here. And then new undocking animations out of stations and out of what looks like habitats, not habitat. Well, I guess they used to be called habitats, but where you store ships. You got a chase camera, updated tracking. If you do want to pause and read any of this in more depth, you can. Just kind of running through top line what I had been perusing before this. They're introducing construction sites. Changing how structures are built. We no longer need to carry our construction materials in the ship inventory when building at a network node that is owned by the player. Instead, it can just be stored in some sort of storage. I would presume like a storage container. And then once all the materials are inserted, construction will begin automatically. To support the new construction flow, building foam has been rebalanced. Building foam was expensive back in the, if I remember correctly, it was very expensive. It looks like they're going to be upping the requirements. Production costs are going to be remaining unchanged, except you're going to get 10 for every one. So that's nice to see, as that's going to make things a little more affordable as you start to move up the chain, because your portable stuff, super cheap, super easy to build. But as soon as you started getting into the actual hangars, refineries, that was expensive to 10 construction foam took forever, or building foam took forever to make. And then in my cycle 4, I didn't actually make it to the turret level. The grind was just a little bit too much for me personally. But it looks like they're rebalancing and building out mini turrets. So the smart turrets, not turkets, weren't working as intended. It looks like they were using or reusing weapons that were based or designed for ships rather than their own individual weapons. So what they've done is they've completely overhauled it. They've removed the ship-based weapons on the turrets and made specialized weapons. So you got your mini turret, your turret, and your heavy turret. And in order goes small, medium, and large targets. It's an interim solution. They're continuing to develop additional anchor points for bases. We're adding multiple base anchor points to all L points, ranging from 5 to 20 anchor points per locations. So it looks like they're just going to make it a little bit, allow more people to build. And then naming changes. So hangars are now shelters, all sorts of good stuff. Field printers, portable printer, yeah. So it looks like just overall naming conventions have gotten better. So overall, a really good change. Orbital zones, formerly known as landscapes, which is where you'll have like interactions with NPCs, which are going to be known as our feral drone. And then they've completely overhauled it, discover as well as the behaviors and how they reactivate. Reactivate? Make them more reactive. Words are hard. You can make them more reactive to their environment. Additionally, they can now move between points. So much like EVE Online, where you've in Pochfin, where they can jump from point of interest to point of interest. Drones can do the same thing. Content distribution, all distribution for asteroids, yada, 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 are redone to align with orbital zone changes. All resources spawn in orbital zones based on an area. We won't give you the full details. Totally makes sense. Crude, fuel, and travel updates. Introduced 2 types of rifts in the form of micro rifts and 2 types of crude matter as well. These are now found in almost every solar system, so you don't have to find specific ones, specific systems in order to actually get your crude fuel. Love that update, allowing players earlier and more frequent access to the crude. Fuel has similarly been updated with new properties that impact the ship's active fuel consumption and intra-stellar travel. Leap drive to be able to be comfortably explore the vast orbital zone, and introduced a new travel paradigm in the last cycle. This time around, we're adding 4 new types of drives that fit different ship class, all of which are found and built in the industry system. Starting location and anticipation of new base building rules and the introduction of orbital zones. We're changing the starting regions and reducing the potential number of starting systems. This should make it more likely that players will find and be able to see and interact with other players. That's kind of a neato change. I love that. And when I was playing, I saw a grand total of 0 people over the span. For this update, it looks like they're doing some ship balance changes. Heavy combat ships, on the other hand, favor high top speeds and slot profiles focused on passive defenses. This comes at the cost of higher mass and lower angular agility. For this update, we wanted to make sure that big brush strokes changes to the combat ships while they're. We could retune. We chose to focus on mobility and slot profiles. So it's just a big old giant balancing. It looks like there's a new ship, the Lay, in the Enclave frigates. Now keep in mind, in Frontier, you start with a Corvette. You go and you slowly build up. Corvette. So basically the smallest of the small ships, a destroyer, and then like a frigate, and just very, very slowly. So it's this game is more focused on the micro rather than the macro that EVE Online is. So if that's what you're looking for, I enjoy it. It is a little bit of a grind though. And these are just a bunch of changes to the ships in game. And yeah, a bunch of different VFXs, visual updates, music updates, engines, advanced user settings, NPC ships. Looks like they're moving from the Ethereum blockchain to the SU. It's going to fundamentally shift. It's going to allow more modability. It's blockchain game. I don't know how I feel about it. It's interesting. Now, if it becomes like a game you can play and earn a little money, like Ready Player One type of a situation, it's interesting. We'll have to see how that all kind of works out as this does continue to get developed. And a bunch of different known issues that are currently out there. And then if we scroll up to the top, don't get sick, go back to our news and look at patch 0.5.1 over to 2.2. Just looks like based on everything that they had released in the previous one, this one came out today, the 12th, or changing some abruptness to the removal of items based on signatures, mission hubs being reworked, and then they have a bunch of defect fixes from what was released yesterday. So, patch update out there. It's pretty neat. I'm excited to kind of jump in, see what this looks like. And I'll tell you what, I'll actually get this fired up right now, and I will see you. All right, so we are in game. I'm going to go ahead and get kicked off here. Which starting constellation do we want to be in? Or I guess region. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'll take no. And we'll get fired up. Little intro animation. I love kind of what they're doing here, making it more cinematic. Right. So we are awake. This is the very first experience of me for our section, or our cycle number 5. The mouse wheel is inverted, so scrolling up makes you zoom in, and scrolling down makes you zoom out. Let's flip over to our local. We are in I69, or I6N. If we look over here, fuel is in critical, so we're going to click to reload. We're going to add our maximum amount. That is a click and drag. So we've got everything applied. You'll need material to build and survive. So as we look around here, we've got a enemy potentially there. If we zoom all the way out, we go into kind of a tactical map view. So what it's saying is I need to gather this feldspar crystal. So if I just click F on this bad guy, as we are in the 2,500 meter range, it looks like we got a bunch of different things. So I'm just going to move everything over to my inventory and stack all. Great. Now, if we move by approaching, this other derelict freighter that looks like it got exploded with our containers all blown up. We are within our range, and we're just going to loot all real quick. Got 28 out of 50 for this particular mission. Okay. And is there anything else floating around before we potentially take on this guy? Does not look like it. So we're going to go ahead and press F to lock this guy up. We're going to load a synthetic mining laser. This is our first weapon. What do we have? We've got an afterburner. We've got a mining crystal, which is going to be basically a weapon. So if we start firing at him, we right click. Actually, let's just double click in his way. So this game is going to be much more of a WASD than clicking in space and driving around. And then to go is going to be your E, and then to slow down is going to be your Q. It does not look like he gave me anything. We do have a new log off timer. So because we did attack somebody, it looks like they've added a log off timer for us. Up here at the top, F1 will bring us to camera, F2 will be our attack menu or our map, and then F3 will be our system map. We got a rift there, we got an L spots, or L points, which is where you can actually build your own network and your own base. So we're going to go ahead and zoom all the way back in. And because they want us to get this feldspar, we're going to need to find the feldspar. So we're going to go out to the system view. We look at all these little spots. Different objects in here. Those are ruins. We don't want ruins. We want... Let's see what this outer shale is. Wrecks, ruins, and debris. Let's zoom in just a hair. There's nothing there. Where am I at? I am up in nowhere space. We love that. There is a ton of L points now. There used to be like 1 or 2 in a system. I love the change. It does continue to bring people together. Let's go back to viewing me. And we are still flying off in the middle of nowhere. Let us go back to system now that we are reoriented. And let's take a look at this outer shale. See what's out there. Outer vestiges. So we're going to warp on out of there. This is a very close, very intimate game. And as you can see, we are burning fuel as we do warp. So as we start to slow down, we're no longer burning fuel. Anytime that you're activating any modules, so like if I activated my hull repairer, we're burning fuel to do that, and this is our capacitor. So we are okay there. We got some glint asteroids. There's a comet, which is going to be hydrated sulfide. Don't need that. Polycyclical. We got a bunch of different things over there. Let's see what this looks like. How do we scan these boys down? Oh, we need to go down. Well, that's not how you do it. They're not getting any bigger. I think I just got to get closer, huh? Another comet. So this isn't going to have any of the material that we need. I think if we go back to system real quick, there was one right next door. Outer vestiges. Let's see what's out there. And we'll click back on our main camera. Alright, this is looking potentially a little more like it. Field refinery. Ah, it looks like I found somebody. Let's get some speed going. So we'll go full bore. Point of interest. We don't necessarily want that. Let's also take a look at our fit somewhere. There it is. What does this skip do? Transit. I think this is one of the ones that makes you jump up to 100,000 or 100 kilometers. Nope, just makes you really fast. I think I heard another point of interest coming to... Those are all comets. Let's see what happens when we activate our skip. Whoa! How fast are we going? We're going 6,000 meters a second. All right, we certainly need to slow down. And we're just gonna, at this point, we're just gonna pick up. I think that we really even need to pick that up. I'm trying to find the correct material here. And they did change it a little bit. Let's see what's in this outer grove real quick. And we're going to go zooming all the way back into us. Kind of a Stargate-esque tunnel. All right. I heard something pop in. What did we see? I'm not seeing anything yet. Let's go ahead and approach this point of interest all the way out here. I'll turn on the afterburner this time rather than the skip. Oh, there they are. It's a comet. It's another hydrated sulfide. I need to find the asteroid Char. Something else came into view. That point of interest is way too far out there. Didn't realize it was that far, so we're gonna scoot. That looks like it would be an asteroid, yeah? Let's see what's up here. Whoa. You know what's up here? My fuel, what a... That's a new bar. Tell you what. We're gonna get there. Burning a shnikey load of fuel in order to do that. Maybe you should have let it cycle again. Sweet. You're not anywhere close to it. We're gonna cycle again, get a lot closer here. It's another comet, dude. I'm gonna have to get a comet just so that I can refuel myself. If I'm not mistaken... Oh, a dewdrop. Methane ice shards. Ooh, that's another comet. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and stop ourselves. That way we stop burning fuel. Because we are getting kind of low on fuel here. Maybe to the interior here. Moons, L points. Let's check out this inner derelict quarry. And hope that we can find what we need in order to continue moving our way forward here. Either that or we're gonna just need to start taking out a bunch of people. A bunch of ingots. Wonder with them putting us all close together, and this did just start. I wonder if all of them have been mined out. Let's go ahead and use a skip. Using half a fuel a second, a little over half a fuel a second. Another thing to keep an eye on here is this is your heat. If you're overheating, you're actually not going to be able to jump to another system. Okay. So I might have to set up a bit of a situation here to where I can even fuel myself. Okay. Ingots aren't really what we're looking for. Something popped in or popped out over there. I'm going to use a little bit of our afterburner. Okay, that's a little annoying. With the pop in, pop out audio. It's a little bit much for me. Passive scanning. Alright, let's turn that bad boy down just a hair. Got some slag. Not quite the right one. That's our plutonium. Alright, let's check out the build menu real quick. What do I need for a refinery? I need these crystals. I need the crystals in order to even build a refinery to refine the comets to fuel. That point of interest just disappeared on me. It's interesting. Not seeing anything here again. Let's go back out to the system. Zoom all the way in. They almost always had something directly in the middle. Inner ruins. Drifting annex. Rift. Inner derelict bay. Let's go to these ruins real quick. See if that gives us what we need. At the very least. Nothing pops in immediately. Let's approach you. We are getting dangerously low on fuel. Or why don't we just burn it all? Okay, nothing popped in on that point of interest. We love that. I'm going to turn that off. So I literally came here. There's point of interest. I rapidly get there and there's nothing there. All right. So I'm not going to have fuel to do a whole lot more here. Let's try to find... They've renamed some things. Let's give this one more college try here. At least warping does not take fuel, somehow. Doesn't make a whole lot of logical sense for me. Oh, there's a bunch of points of interest. Bunch of ingots again. Ugh. Need something other than ingots. Everything is so far away. I'm gonna... In a little bit of a situation here. I didn't find what I needed. So we're just gonna slow boat a little bit. Ingots, points of interest. That's coming into a range. I don't want to be using fuel because I don't have a whole lot of it left. So I can burn for 12 seconds, basically, a little under 12 seconds. At the closest one. Oh, we do have a closer point of interest up there. I think we're going to need to use a skip in order to get there in a timely manner. But I'm going to need to watch my fuel. So we're going to deactivate after this. I bet you these are a bunch of just refineries of folks. Okay. I don't think this is going to be what we need. Let me continue to dig in here, and I'll come back when I find something. Or when I find the char. And I think with us being all the way out to the outside, that's why we're not. But I'm also just shooting from the hip here. Derelict Bay. Let's just check this out one more time. If that doesn't find me anything, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end the episode. Or end this particular, episode. And see if this gets me anything close to what I need. Well, that sounds like something's getting shot. Ingots. More ingots. And ingots. And ingots. What is all the way up there? I tell you what. Is this one closer? Yeah, that one's a lot closer. I'm going to figure out what the heck this is. Again, it's keyboard and mouse. So if you want to change directions without having something approachable, WASD. So we're pointed directly-ish at it, and we're going to hit skip. As we get closer... Hey! That's what we needed! Finally! Okay. Thank God. That was becoming painful, huh? Okay. So we're going to continue to afterburner our way in, and then we're actually going to start mining here. And we are there. Perfect. So we need 50 to complete this mission. We need 60 in order to build our refinery. And we should have plenty of room in the cargo hold. There it is. Field refinery. What I'm going to do is turn off our afterburner. We really don't need to be approaching anymore. So what we're going to do, since we have everything that we need, we're going to enter our build mode again, except we're going to build our field refinery. And if we look at the Char Asteroid is right there. We're going to slide that up just a hair, press F to place. Go back to our regular camera. That's done. I do have this hydrated sulfide matrix, which is found in our comets, typically found further from the star. So that was why we were finding so much of it, is because we were going out on the outer edges of the solar system. So very much like actual space, further away from the star, the colder it is. And at that point, you'll have comets and stuff be able to form. As it gets closer, it starts to melt. Asteroids can be mined for ore, blah, 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 blah. We're going to interact with that. And we're going to check this required items available. So it's only going to narrow down exactly what we have. And because we want this water ice, we're going to select this, deposit. And then you could do one run by right clicking, maximum by left clicking, or you could shift click and select your own personal amount. It looks like because it goes in batches of 20 here, we're going to deposit. I'm actually only going to do 60. That way I don't have 10 just sitting there that I have to clear. And then for each run, it gives me 150 water and 10 hydrocarbon residue. Great. So I've got that. The existing infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. So we're going to then clear this out by sending all the maximum to my Wend ship. We're going to go back to our schematics here. And now we have this water ice mineral. So we're going to input our water ice 275 to get 75 D1 fuel. Deposit 275 times 2. We're not going to have enough, but I'll just go ahead and deposit it all. And then while that's working, I'm going to remove or withdraw, and then I'm going to withdraw that. And then the next thing it's telling me to do is a field storage. So field areas or field items or build centers that you're dropping aren't going to last forever. They do have a shelf life that if they aren't used or anything like that, they'll disappear. But we're going to go ahead and build that storage just to make our life a little bit easier. And I like to kind of organize my space a little bit. So I will slide that just a little bit to the direction I'm facing right now is right. We're going to slide it up. And we're going to try to center it just a hair here. Need a little more that way. Too high for center. There we go. So we're going to place that. And then what that'll allow me to do is just store all my stuff. While we're here, we're going to reload. The refuge serves as a field base. It stores your ships within its range, and you can manage your shell and ascend. So that's where you're going to, as you saw things pop up. If I go to my character sheet, I've got Icarus here. Combat logs. No, it's these ones here. This will allow you to ascend. And as you can see, I've been gaining things by the items that I'm doing. So I've got 1 logical, 2 adaptive, 1 sensory, and I'm rocking a blank shell. So we're just going to close that out real quick. Can I build a refuge? Refuge needs platinum palladium matrix in order to build that. But I think with how long I've been playing this already, I think this is a good jumping off spot. If you have enjoyed, if you want to see more of Eve Frontier, let me know in the comments. Leave me a positive comment, or if you have a different way of playing it, or if you want me to go fully back to just playing some Eve, let me know. Hit me with a like, subscribe if you enjoyed this, if you wanted me to continue to go further into this. But I hope you have enjoyed kind of our first foray into Season 5 or Cycle 5 of Eve Frontier. And I will see you in the comments. Thanks for watching today.